We're Copper Creek Contractors. We serve Central Illinois with the elite roofing, storm restoration, and exterior remodeling. We treat every home like our own and pride ourselves on quality, honesty, and real craftsmanship. We are proud to sponsor this episode of The Table and to introduce today's guest, Josh Howard. Josh brings 15 years of experience in storm restoration and complex insurance claims. He is a 4-time Win the Storm panelist and a leader who earns trust by educating homeowners. He restores homes and their peace of mind. He creates a culture where people feel connected, supported, and ready to build together. Josh has that Midwest backbone that is rock solid. He stands on the same values we do: hard work, integrity, community impact. Please join us in welcoming Josh Howard to the show.
Can we start off with your idea for the Vermilion Standard?
Yeah, no. So with the Vermilion Standard, it was something that I had really close to my heart for a few years, but I really wasn't sure like where to take that first step, who to get involved at that particular time. So I had reached out to Ashton and started just brainstorming with her, seeing if this is something that you'd be interested in doing, kind of thing. And from there, we just both came to the conclusion that like, hey, we needed to, of course, get you involved, which was awesome, bringing a whole different side of the business to it. But there's a new generation coming in, which is super exciting because we're all on the same mission, trying to make Danville a better place for our families, for ourselves, and then also trying to bring in businesses. I'd say like we're a couple months in now, 3 months in. This is certainly something more than a networking group, and has more potential than we initially thought when we set out to do this. So we're pretty excited.
Well, Josh Howard, welcome to the table. Can we talk a little bit about what you do?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been in the storm restoration / remodeling industry for the last 15 years, one of the top performers in the country. What I do is I help residents and I help business owners restore their properties after hail and windstorm. So I go out, do very thorough inspections, something very similar to what their insurance adjuster would be doing, begin to start the estimating process, helping them navigate through the insurance process, meeting with their adjuster, and then essentially just helping them maximize their insurance claim and get their property restored as it was before the storm came through.
I got you. Okay, so you've spoken on panels.
Yep.
Okay, so what was your experience like?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
The first time I went down and spoke in New Orleans, so there's this group called the Storm Ventures Group, and essentially it's the largest online training platform in the industry. They also have a couple of the biggest Facebook group followings, and they had a thing called the $1 Million Producer Panel.
Really?
And the storm just happened in Champaign, 2019, and I had got rolling. Ended up selling about $5 million that year.
Wow.
Came in 6th in the country. So they asked me to come speak on stage with the other 10 that made it on there. So it was super humbling, but also being around that type of caliber of salesman and industry professional, it enlightened me that like, hey, you've got this far, but there's still a lot of room to grow. Because one thing I remember particularly happened is like, they're like, hey, Josh Howard, he had sold 236 jobs, and the guy sitting next to me had sold like 12 jobs and did like $3 or $4 more million than me. So it was just a huge epiphany that there's different ways to go out and get it, and different customer bases that I could focus on. And that was probably about 5-6 years ago at this point. And then just went down to Dallas, Texas a few months back, and I was asked to speak on $1 Million Producer Panel. And then they also asked me to speak on the canvassing that converts. So canvassing in our industry is we go out and essentially knocking on doors, getting in front of customers. There's all kinds of great, as you're aware, like terrific marketing strategies, different things that you can do and that kind of thing. But in our industry, it seems like, the old 20th century way of just knocking on somebody's door, getting in front of them, has been very advantageous for us. And since then, I've built sales teams that are out canvassing together. We deploy to certain areas that are impacted by storm damage. But yeah, that's one thing. I don't think anybody goes to school, gets a bachelor's degree, is like, hey, I want to come out and be a remodeling salesman that goes and knocks on doors. And then you begin to find out how lucrative it is, and how much joy you can get from putting yourself out there and financially rewarding it can be and stuff like that too. So
Right. Yeah. Okay. So can we talk about the person that you have become? Was there something that you had to kill off?
I'm happy to talk about that. It's taken time to kind of like heal and navigate through those situations. But yeah, there was a cross point where essentially was going through a divorce and just having a huge epiphany like, hey, one or two things are going to happen here. I'm either going to get better or I'm going to get worse. So what I wanted to do is just reverse engineer that aspect and be like, hey, I can recreate myself. And it was amazing. Like I was going to an energy healer in Champaign. She used to always just talk about like, hey, you got to go find your inner child. So she would work with me on all these exercises about discovering my inner child. It was just like, hey, riding my bikes with my friends was a huge part of my childhood. And it's so ironic now that the person that I rode my bike with the most when I was a kid is the number one person that I go on mountain biking trips with. I go meet at Kickapoo. I go meet at Harrison Park and stuff like that. So it's just crazy that those things that she was telling me then, once I really started searching and figuring out like, hey, how can I get deeper into this? All the working out, the additional mountain bike riding instead of going out, and just really learn like you got to be comfortable with yourself. And once you're comfortable with yourself and you enjoy spending time with yourself, for me, it's just like that's when all the magic happened. The people would come into my life that I'd been praying for or been desiring in a subconscious manifestation type of way. Or the opportunities would come. And like you're so super involved with like social media, me and you, like that's where me and you click. Like we're putting ourselves out there, we're constantly branding, just keeping up with that. And there was just times where it had been like I had done that for years, like story after story, and kind of gradually watched the views go down over the years. And
and
then there would be spikes, and then it was just like, why am I doing all this? And then it would seem like just I would go back to every time I was comfortable, I was by myself, I was focused. That's like when all these opportunities would come.
When you're by yourself and you're focused, it's almost like a detachment?
Yes.
Interesting.
Every time I was just focused on myself, it was opportunity after opportunity. And, it's weird. You just end up growing to like love yourself so much more in a non-arrogant kind of way. And your level of expectations for yourself increases and all that kind of stuff too. So
it's like this quiet, grounded confidence almost.
Yep.
Talk about the mountain biking. I've never been, but you said you're on the board.
Yep.
Okay, talk about that.
Vermilion County, like we talk about in the Vermilion Standard, what we're known for is these outdoor recreational spaces and areas, and then like really figuring out like how we can work together to utilize those. And mountain biking is one of those things. Like I thought the same thing. Like I would go out there, I'm riding on some gravel. This is mountain biking. I got out there, saw a single track trail, a bunch of roots in it, wrecked a couple times, and I'm like, all right, this is what mountain biking is, you know? And then I just fell in love with it. For me, like meditation, I used to think it was some zing thing where I got to sit Indian style in quiet silence and stuff.
Have you ever tried like the guided meditations, or do you just like to sit in complete silence?
So I do feel like there's a lot of power in sitting in silence.
Yeah.
So like back in the day when I was going through everything, I would find myself hiking. And normally like my ADD brain's just thinking about a million things. I'm playing pinball in my brain all day trying to figure out how to get through
different way to put it. Oh my gosh.
So with hiking, I'd be like, hey, this is one thing I can do, and I can go out here and think about one thing. And then really what I would find out is like, hey, the key is to go out there and think about nothing and let it come to me. And the older I've got, I've realized that, hey, the mountain biking's meditation to me, because it's one of the few things in my life that I go out and do and nothing else matters. I'm not thinking, I'm not sounding rude or nothing, but not thinking about the kids, not thinking about my family, not thinking about work. I'm just out there in that hour and a half with Ryan and just enjoying my life and, getting high on the adrenaline and all that kind of thing. So
it's like a reset. How often do you go?
So I'd say we try to get out there at least two times a week. So like next week, Ryan and I are actually getting ready to go to Bentonville, Arkansas, the Mecca mountain bike capital of the world. So that's our one of our small visions with the Vermilion Standard. Like how can we expand our trail line to help bring in more of a tourist type vibe?
Have you ever done any of like the ice challenges or whatever, the ice bath?
For the remodeling industry, RoofCon, they had a men's retreat. We went to the oldest graveyard in Tennessee.
Really?
Was
it spooky?
It was kind of spooky. Just the layout was unique, and But when we were there, one of the things that we needed to do is we picked a grave and we journaled about that particular grave. And
I just got chills.
yeah, it was intense.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I mean, headstones are rocks.
Yeah.
They're not like when Ross Darby was coming in talking about all the fancy things. These are like literally rocks with, engravings out of them and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we had time to journal. And the prompt was you're writing a letter to your family the last day you would.
I'm going to cry.
Yeah, it was crazy. The same resort we were on, yeah, we dove into, it was like 20 degrees, dived into like some creek down there.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I was with a few guys that were actually from Europe somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. Like we just all knew Wim Hof, and some of the people there weren't familiar with like the, cold plunge and all that stuff. But these guys, and we could barely speak, and we just went crazy together for like a half an hour out there. It was awesome.
What are the benefits to the cold plunging?
I feel like your alertness and awareness just immediately intensifies. You're having to control your breathing to even just stay stable, and then by the time you got out, I feel like there's just a rush of energy that I'm not sure of like any other natural way that you can get something like that. For me, it's always just like, I like looking into David Goggins a lot, for example.
Yeah, he's interesting.
It's exactly, agreed. Some of those things are like, I feel like super over the top, like my foot breaks, I'm not going to go run 100 more miles kind of thing.
No.
But the art of like pushing yourself past comfort a little bit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I've always been fascinated with that. Like have a good friend that runs a lot. And when he first started, it's just like, I can't see going those distances and stuff like that. And then just pushing past like the perceived limitations physically sometimes. I've always found that interesting, but yeah.
What's a limitation that you pushed past that you thought you had?
So a couple recently. So we weren't very well trained. It was one of those like weird first quarters at the beginning of this year where I was just coming off an LCL injury, took a horrible bike crash over at Griffin Bike Park in Terre Haute, just ended up short on a jump, and I physically wasn't back. And essentially like we had an enduro race going on. I'm not the fastest guy out there. I'm typically the oldest, biggest guy out there. So it's just super interesting being out there in general. But
gotcha. Are you an elder millennial?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah. I think with the grays, people got me feeling a little bit older than I am sometimes, but I feel like I'm very seasoned and experienced, pushing myself through that enduro race.
What's an enduro race?
So enduro race is somewhat of a hybrid between like cross country, which is kind of like what Kickapoo is, a little bit of a flatter surface, some descending and ascending, but mainly like a flat single track kind of thing. And then there's like downhill mountain biking, which is like something like if you went to YouTube and saw the most views, that's what you're going to check out. People going 20, 30 miles an hour, ripping huge jumps. So like enduro somewhere in the middle, like you're going downhill, it's time oriented on certain segments. So there's stages, and then there's non-time stages. That's where you catch your breath, but you're still pedaling. They ain't like you're just jumping on a lift or something like that, getting back up. So you have to conserve your energy and so forth. So getting through that was tough. Like we hadn't trained much. The weather sucked at the beginning of the year, so we didn't get out and ride a lot. And I caught myself trying to make excuses to Ryan, like why I wasn't going to go. And then, ended up sucking it up, making it, and had one of the best times we ever had riding. Kickapoo puts on an annual endurance race.
I had
26
no idea.
miles. It was one lap.
Do they have a Facebook for all of this? Like all these events?
Yes, they hype it up, but it's kind of like one of the events in September. So it kind of like there's months of not much talking about it. And then all of a sudden it's like, here we go.
There would be a lot of people around here would actually be interested in all of this. If they were wanting to join like the mountain biking club, like how do they go about that?
Yeah. So no, I mean, you could reach out to like Ryan Lawless or myself for sure. We could get you set up. Also, a lot of people aren't aware that the Kickapoo Adventures, they actually rent bikes. There's a mixture of hardtails. There's I think some full suspension in there and all that kind of stuff. There is some talks between a few of us about essentially bringing back a bike shop to town. Early stages of that, but especially like after hearing Logan talk and stuff like that, trying to intertwine a idea of how we can make that happen. But that would be a good start. Just renting a bike, taking your time, having fun. If you can get out there for a group ride with people, I feel like that community is so loving and caring and just downright just super cool.
Really? Super supportive. Interesting.
Like I've played sports my whole life, usually been like the top of the top in every sport I play.
What'd you play?
basketball, football, not so much baseball. The
Yeah.
best of the best with that, but I was always there.
Yeah.
My mom and dad didn't want me getting in trouble during the spring, so
Oh gosh.
yeah. But with mountain biking, I feel like it's so supportive. Like sometimes there's such gaps in those other three sports I mentioned that you know, like I coach a travel basketball team. I have my starters and I got my guys that come off the bench. When I intertwine the people from the bench, sometimes the flow is messy because there's not repetition.
Yeah.
There's a gap in skill set and kind of thing. And I feel like with mountain biking, like I've been out at Kickapoo before when I was started 5 years ago and I was on a $500 bike and I would run across a couple. It could have been a father and son, husband, wife, whatever. And they're on $12,000 pivots. I don't know them. They don't know me. You just go up and talk to them and they're like, hey, you want to ride my bike?
Yeah.
Just to see what this experience is like and stuff like that. And then you hop on the trail with them. And then for some of the riders that are a little less advanced, I feel like the community of mountain biking, like they'll ride with you, they'll talk you through the ride, they'll keep you together kind of thing. And I've always really liked that. It's like no person left behind. If you're out there, like you got everybody's respect, and it feels like everybody all in is there to help you and make sure you're safe, but also make sure like, you know, you're going to enjoy yourself and stuff like that.
Okay, can we go back to you saying that your parents were trying to keep you out of trouble as a kid? So do you feel like those qualities that you had as a kid, I'm assuming that you were a little bit of a rebel, maybe?
Yep.
Did you question authority a lot? How do those carry into who you are today? I feel like those traits, at least for me, like benefit me now. Like I'm always questioning things. I'm always like looking at the bigger picture. Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I echo with what you're saying. I think that the system sometimes is designed to keep you not thinking, and keep you entrapped inside the box and so forth. And whatever we think about, what we become.
Right.
So people really realizing that, but like I remember years where you know, I went from making a lot of money to making not very much money, and there's these huge gaps because I'm taking massive risk.
Yeah.
But understand, but
ooh, talk about that.
Yeah. So, well, man, let me tell you, I've had it made before, and then gave it all up a couple of times ago.
Really?
You know, practically not know how I was going to pay bills. And,
how do you climb out of that?
You literally have to be one of those people where you just never stop fighting.
Yeah.
You have to constantly be believing. You have to realize like there's other people that are counting on you. Yeah. And even if there isn't, like you're just doing yourself a disservice. Like there's nothing wrong about failing. Seriously, you had it made, lost it all.
Yeah. But it builds that confidence. Like you don't lose that skill set.
What the key for me has been, Alicia, is just like not being so focused on the destination all the time.
Yeah.
Like really taking a step back and just realize like even the parts that suck and the parts that are hard, like it's important to embrace the journey, like to really be part of the journey and understand that God and Jesus and these people, that you're supposed to go through these things. And if you don't, you never know who you can become or who you are. Even like when we were talking about the divorce earlier, like that was one of those points where it's just like, hey, what are you going to do?
Right.
And then like my entire life changed after that for the better, certainly, where it was just like, hey, I'm this person that I wanted to be. These habits like the mountain biking and the working out and all that stuff, like that may not be as possible if I was in my old self.
That's true.
So essentially like being a chameleon and you never like learn how to just surf like effortlessly. It's more like you just learn to ride the wave. And that's what it's about. Like, you know, now things are starting to get better. And the reason things are getting better is because we didn't quit. We kept believing.
Talk to me about the fear. Have you noticed that the more things that you've gone through, does your baseline change?
No, absolutely. And that's where I think you were saying earlier, like there's a level of confidence that comes when you know that you've been through it. And if everybody leaves you and it's just you versus you know that you can count on yourself.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for that. And there's very few people that I run into that can be in those situations.
Yeah.
Being the uncomfortable things, like in our line of work, like I've never made the same amount of money 2 weeks in a row, back-to-back weeks. It's always variable. It's always dependent on me. And those was where usually the reward comes in too. You know, you take the risk, there's a reward.
Yes.
But
risk.
But I think it comes from like, this is where like you and I became really good friends, but there's that deep conviction in what we're doing. And there's a belief that subconsciously or consciously, like we feel that we're the best at what we're doing. and most importantly, like we're making a difference.
Yeah.
And then that's what keeps you going, you know, like it's always like important to understand like what we're doing.
Yeah.
But when I get the most out of my team, or even if I get the most out of myself, my kids, whatever it is, it's about like them understanding why we're doing that, not just what, but why we're doing what we're doing. But yeah, I think that's where you and I like really get the big picture, because we're both really trying to build something. We're convicted.
Yeah.
The waves come, the storms come, and you just weather the storm. And they're always going to come. Even the most successful people, like they're constantly going through stuff.
Yeah.
The difference I've learned about them, though, is they can turn the page quicker than anybody else.
Yeah, they're resilient.
They go through it. Hey, I can't control this. I can't control this. Poof, the page turns.
Yeah.
And they're just right back on business.
Yeah, it's a lot of detachment too,
Yep.
for sure. Can we go back to the chameleon statement that you made? Can you talk a little bit more about that? I'm very interested, because in the past I've had people say, oh, Alicia's like kind of a chameleon. And at that point I was offended, but nowadays I'm not.
Yeah, no. And I think like some people that may watch this may feel like, hey, the chameleon thing, like you're trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm saying at all. Like
No.
it's actually the opposite. And even with sales, like take these guys out and they feel like, hey, Josh has this incredible gift of gab. He's been doing this 15 years. He knows everything.
Yeah.
And then they get there and they really realize like, hey, it's none of that. Like I don't have these fancy one-liners. Like, of course, my language is industry leading. My process is top tier. Like I get it. But what I really do is I find a way to connect.
Yeah.
And then psychologically understanding, like in my business world, that, hey, there's different types of consumers. They're going to buy in different ways. Some of them are visual. Some of them are storytelling. Some of them just like you and want to buy.
Yeah.
But the main thing is just like realizing, hey, in a personal level too, I want to be respectful. But like had a conversation with a woman in Springfield the other day, just personally going through some things. I'm not her therapist or not trying to do any of that, but just taking a couple minutes and truly just having a conversation with her, tell her I'm thinking about her. And even before I threw the truck and drive, like, hey, just a little 15-second prayer. Like, hey, I can tell she's really going through it. And the universe and the people, they can feel those things. But the chameleon part, where it's just like understanding the situation, understanding your audience, figure out like, hey, how can I blend here and feel safe to them?
Yeah.
And authentic.
How can I connect?
Yep.
Yeah. So would you say that the losses that you have had have set you free?
Yeah. And again, this is crazy to say out loud, but even in some aspects, realizing they're not done.
Yeah.
You know, but so again, it sounds crazy, but like things are going amazing right now. Not consciously trying to manifest a downtime, but also being realistic. Like, hey, the more I stretch, the more I push, there's going to be some pushback from the universe and so forth. And so like keeping the momentum going. And again, just realizing like there's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be obstacles. When you're engaged in a passion and you're deeply rooted into something, like you will find a way to navigate through it.
Yeah. I feel like expansion always comes with some sort of loss. I'm always so thankful for it in the end, like the zoomed out version, like, you know, hindsight and all of that. But I have noticed that, I don't know, a lot of people are like, oh, I want expansion. I want to be better. I want to grow. And I don't think that they realize that it comes with pain. Always. Like there's always something you lose. There's some sort of pain. And I feel like that's the difference. Like the people that I have on the podcast, like they have gone through something really, really hard, and they have the resilience to get through that and continue and know that more is coming, you know? So,
yeah, it's tough. It's makes it sound like really easy, like putting it like that, but it's tough when you're out there and the situation could be something personally, a loss. It could be something that's involving, you know, tens, 20s, thousands of dollars, where it's like, hey, got to really figure this out. But just constantly believing and just never giving up, figuring out like how to make everything whole.
Yeah, I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
This is awesome. I'm very excited, and I love watching yours, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.